r/AskReddit, what are some immediate red flags that the movie you are watching is about to suck? That's the worst. The movie sucks, and it also ruins the songs. Yep, this was what I disliked about The Great Gatsby. Great movie, but the music didn't match at all. No time to explain. Let me explain. Oh, there is too much. Let me sum up. Inigo Montoya, The Princess Bride. When I start saying out loud why the fuck would you do that or just do XYZ and none of this movie even has to happen. Shit along those lines. It drives my wife nuts. When they draw too much attention to their foreshadowing. Oh, I see you have Jess's lighter. He loved that lighter. Always lighting his cigarettes with it. Man, I miss seeing him use that lighter. End of the movie, we need to light this dynamite. If only we had a match. Wait a minute. When it's super dark and difficult to even see what's happening on the screen. Added to this, when I can barely tell what anyone's saying because the audio mixdown has been optimized for theaters and whatever home cinema system the directors and producers have at home, instead of all our crappy $399 flat screens with shitty speakers. Optimize the sound for the device most people are going to be watching on. When characters are blatantly oblivious to the very obvious clues throughout the movie. When characters exchange information they both already know, and that's the dialogue. Ah, what's up, my baby sister? Don't call me baby, I'm already 10. I know. Because you were 9 when mom died, and that was a year ago. Remember? Of course I remember, you're my older brother after all. Let's go that way. Tunnel full of blood, guts, and the chittering of xenomorphs. Just had a flashback to the trained scientists removing their helmets in Prometheus. Here's a bad noise outside, let me go outside with no shoes or weapon to see. A surplus of production companies in the opening credits, none of which you've ever heard of before. Guaranteed to be low budget and almost always a complete mess. Babbling Brooks Pictures presents a Sanded Mountain United production of a Millennium Triangle Studios film. In association with Wingnut Dishwashers Unlimited is code for we were desperate for money, so we took it from literally anyone who would give it to us. That could be a bunch of indie houses trying to get a good script made too. I see you, fellow Wingnut Dishwashers Union fan. When people don't speak like people. Hello my sister who I have not seen since our mother's funeral. How is our drug-addicted brother who I also haven't seen since our mother's funeral? Ever see Redditors give advice on what to say? Sometimes, you will see suggestions that literally no one would say. You're not getting out 2 paragraphs without the other person talking. When it starts with a city girl going to a small town inn. By extent, movies that try very hard to communicate information to viewers with narration and explicit dialogues. It's the last resort of directors who are not capable of telling the story naturally. I'm John, and this is Jane. She's my sister but our personalities are totally different. Or a rich business executive going to a small town inn. Or a recent widow going to a small town inn. Or a country gal horse caretaker going to a small town inn. In fact, if the movie takes place at a small town inn in general, it is probably crap. Hallmark movies. My friend writes these movies. It's good steady work in a field where that's rare. They take about a week to shoot. When Bob walks up to Alice and says, "Quick, drop everything, we need to fly to Rome now, here's your ticket." Then the next scene is Alice and Bob in the airport in Rome, presumably after a long international flight. And Alice says, "So why are we here anyway?" As if no time has passed. As soon as I see the 6th or 7th production company logo at the beginning I know we're in trouble. Not 100% of the time but like a strong 95. What does that mean? Trouble with funding? Those insanely obscure production companies with shitty logos that only did 1 or 2 movies. I'm 98% certain it's money laundering or a producer's mistress demanded a day job. Usually Chinese money laundering operations too. Steven Seagal is in it. Fadley moves around a corner. Mullen. If there are multiple trailers that use the same bad joke, that's not a great sign. I did enjoy the last 90 minutes of Executive Decision. Not really true in every case, but husband and I have a running joke that if the first scene for a character has a car door open and a booted foot, or stiletto, comes out to stand on the pavement, camera angle low, it's either a shit movie or a comedy. Casino was a great movie. Heavy jokes about husbands who hate their wives, wives who'd rather F the neighbor than her husband. Just people being absolutely shitty to each other. If this wasn't a romantic movie, everyone would agree that you're a terrible human being no matter how awesome your new love interest is. But no. She's cute and quirky while your partner is stable and boring, So we're going to root for you to break their heart. Just break up. Call it off. Then go fuck them. Or be poly. Damn. With the exception of The Emperor's New Groove, any movie that starts off with freeze frame asterisk record scratch asterisk yup, that's me. I bet you're wondering how I ended up in this situation. Yep. The Emperor's New Groove is iconic. Let's also put Megamind on the list of sanctioned exceptions. Trainspotting would also be an exception. If it starts in a bar where the protagonist has to beat up some loudmouth patrons to let the audience know he's a badass. Bonus points if the loudmouth bar patrons are harassing a female bartender. And if the trailer makes you feel like you've seen the whole movie already. Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze is an exception. Clearly you've never seen the 1989 cinematic masterpiece No Holds Barred starring Hulk Hogan. Con Air, though. Workaholic needs to go to their forgotten about hometown for some reason and meets an old potential flame. Half of all Hallmark films. They're all bad though. Don't get me wrong on that. Opening with voice-over narration that merely repeats what we are looking at. David Attenborough is a brilliant cinematic mind. Worse, narration that introduce the characters and how they're like. Because the movie itself will not able to communicate that. Hey. You just described most YouTube shorts. And yet, arguably the best trilogy in cinematic history does just this, Lord of the Rings. This is a really good point I haven't thought about, but it's so true. Tacked on romance. I know it's about to be some Hollywood cliché bullshit. You have to show the male leads aren't gay somehow. While I am being sarcastic, this is really a thing. This isn't always 100% true, but I get a little worried when the actors show up on screen before the movie starts to talk to you as themselves and thank you for showing up and saying they hope you enjoy the movie or something uncomfortable like that. It gives me diarrhea. Tom Cruise. LMAO. Directed by Uwe Boll. I kinda respect the hustle though. Like, he does make bad movies, and he seems somewhat like a Jode. But cranking out movies to collect a paycheck from the government? Can't blame the guy. Female character somehow has perfect hair and makeup in a post-apocalyptic world, or other situation where it doesn't make sense. Maybe it's just my pet peeve, but that instantly makes me want to stop the movie. To be fair, the guys are often like that too. Everyone has cut/styled hair and their beards are somehow never longer than attractive stubble despite being nomadic survivors wandering a collapsed civilization. Like Megan Fox jumping into sand in one of the Transformers movies wearing white pants then stands up and the pants are spotless. Basically every Kevin Hart movie. Exception, Night of the Comet. When everyone is whispering. Steven Seagal's face. Directed by Alan Smithee used to be the obvious one. More than 4 credited writers is usually a bad sign. Same goes for music. There's a trap beat, a 3-note bass line and 8 lines of lyrics. This took 17 of you. Other than bad acting, when they add plot after plot after plot and try to be edgy about it. Instead everyone's just confused and it becomes boring to follow along when it's all over the place. Jared Leto appears. The Blade Runner sequel made him so creepy, it was the best use of the guy. Otherwise, you're right. Unnecessary jump scares constantly. Michael Bay circles. This one took me a long time to learn. Also, when all the best jokes/moments are shown in the trailer. I can't remember who H-Video, Filmjoy, Every Frame a Painting, Lindsay Ellis, but they pointed out that Michael Bay does a very good job of circling. His circling reveals information, demonstrates mood, builds suspense, or moves the action. And while he has rapid cuts, they are cut well to keep going. Imitation Michael Bay circles are what indicate the movie is going to suck. Amateurish dialogue. The only positive thing that can come out of a movie with amateurish dialogue is good visuals. The wacky friend makes his/her first appearance. When there is a sex scene in the first 2 minutes of the movie. And you can hear the thought process of the director going, let's throw in some tits and asses from the start, maybe people won't notice what a crap movie this is. Full penetration, fighting crime, full penetration, fighting crime. Then it just sort of ends. What movies have done that? When I See Gwyneth Paltrow. James Corden dressed like a cat. Licensed music that doesn't match the scene but is recognizable. Too dark to see anything. Edit, glad it's not just me. Someone should let the Hollywood assholes know they're not creating ambience, they're creating frustration for the viewers. We can talk about quiet dialogue and loud action scenes next too. Somehow Pal Patton returned. Same small group of sets and actors used. Scene 1 is husband talking to wife and kid at the kitchen table. Scene 2 is wife having a bad day at the office. She is yelled at by one manager. Scene 3 is dinner at home. Scene 4 is wife back at office, manager introduces her to one desk mate, etc. No transportation or transition scenes, just a series of rooms. I'm reminded of 30 Rock when a character mentions he did a B-movie and was glad because he never had to get out of his car. Hello everyone. Thanks for sticking to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to humbly ask you to subscribe to the channel. According to my statistics, 100% of my viewers in the past 28 days are not subscribed. I have always wanted this channel to reach 1000 subscribers, and if you want to support and be a part of that, subscribe. It's free and it's an awesome way to support the channel. Thanks again, Reddit glitch out.